Good morning, everybody, and thank you very much for being here today. I hope you'll find it interesting and insightful. I'm certainly looking forward.
Catherine, Princess of Wales, the woman who transformed from commoner to future queen, who raised 3 royal children under the world's most unforgiving microscope, who embodies poise in every photograph, has survived losses that would shatter most souls. At 43, she represents the modern face of the British monarchy, a beacon of stability, a mother who balances tiaras with school runs, the woman millions admire. But 2024 delivered a shocking blow that exposed the fragility beneath the polished exterior. March 22, 2024, a video message from Windsor. Catherine, sitting on a bench surrounded by blooming daffodils, speaks words that silence the world. Tests after the operation found cancer had been present. Cancer, at 42, with 3 young children. While the entire planet watches, the fairy tale cracked wide open. For weeks, conspiracy theories had ravaged social media. Where was Kate? Why hadn't she been seen? The speculation turned vicious, cruel, invasive in ways that revealed humanity's darkest impulses. The truth was heartbreaking. She was fighting for her life, in private, while strangers demanded proof she was alive. What followed wasn't just a medical battle. It was an emotional reckoning with mortality, with motherhood under impossible circumstances, with the suffocating reality that even your cancer diagnosis becomes public property when you're royalty. The woman who walked down the aisle of Westminster Abbey in 2011 before 2 billion viewers has spent over a decade learning that crowns are beautiful cages, that duty often means sacrificing yourself, that being Princess Catherine means your pain is never truly your own. But behind the radiant smile and impeccable composure lies a story not glamorous, but brutal. If Catherine, Princess of Wales, has ever made you believe in grace under pressure, hit like as tribute to her extraordinary courage. This is the story of a woman who became a princess and paid with her privacy, her peace, and nearly her health. A story of relentless judgment, devastating illness, and the heartbreaking reality of living your darkest moment in front of billions. A woman who discovered that survival sometimes means choosing yourself, when the world demands you sacrifice everything. Catherine Elizabeth Middleton was born on January 9, 1982, at the Royal Berkshire Hospital in Reading, England. Not into aristocracy, not into inherited wealth, but into a family that understood that success requires sacrifice. Her parents, Carol Goldsmith and Michael Middleton, met while working as flight attendants for British Airways. Carol had grown up in Southall, Middlesex, in a council flat. Her father was a lorry driver. Her mother worked in a jewelry shop. This was not royal lineage. This was working-class England in the 1960s and 70s. In 1987, when Catherine was 5, her parents launched Party Pieces from their home in Berkshire, a mail-order party supply business built on kitchen table dreams and borrowed money. The beginning was not glamorous, but desperate. Long hours, financial uncertainty, the pressure of making it work so their children could have better. Catherine attended St. Andrew's School in Pangbourne, where she was a quiet, studious child. Then came Downhouse, an all-girls boarding school in Cold Ash. She enrolled at 13 in 1995. As she lasted to terms, the bullying was merciless. Girls mocked her appearance, called her too thin, too plain, not wealthy enough, not connected enough. The cruelty of adolescent girls who sensed someone didn't quite belong. Her parents withdrew her, enrolled her at Marlborough College in Wiltshire in 1996. There, Catherine found her footing. She excelled at sports, hockey, tennis, cross-country. She became a house prefect. She learned to navigate social hierarchies with quiet determination, but the scars remained. The knowledge that acceptance is conditional, that belonging can be revoked. In 2001, Catherine arrived at the University of St. Andrews in Scotland to study art history. She was 19, reserved, living in St. Salvador's Hall dormitory. She had no idea her entire life was about to change, because in that same dormitory lived Prince William, second in line to the British throne, and Catherine Middleton was about to become the most scrutinized woman on earth. The story the world knows goes like this. March 2002, a charity fashion show called Don't Walk. Catherine walks the runway in a sheer dress over black lingerie. Prince William pays £100, roughly to $180 for a front row seat. He was 19. She was 20. The dress cost £30 to make. It changed everything that they became friends first, then housemates in their second year, sharing 13A Hope Street with 2 other students. By late 2002, they were dating. Catherine tried to live a normal university life, but the British tabloids had found their story. Photographers began following her. 2 lectures, 2 coffee shops, to the gym. She wasn't just dating someone. She was dating the future King of England. They graduated in 2005. William entered military training at Royal Military Academy Sandhurst. Catherine took a job as an accessories buyer for Jigsaw, a clothing retailer in London, earning approximately £20,000. Annually roughly $38,000. She lived in Chelsea with her sister Pippa. She tried to build a normal career while dating the most famous bachelor in the world. The pressure was astronomical. Every outfit photographed, every move analyzed. Tabloids nicknamed her Waity Katie, cruelly suggesting she was desperately waiting for a proposal that might never come. Then came April 2007. The relationship ended. William, 24, reportedly wanted freedom before settling down. Catherine, 25, was heartbroken, humiliated publicly, photographed looking devastated outside her apartment. The narrative was savage, the commoner who wasn't good enough for the prince. But Catherine didn't collapse. She went out. She was photographed at clubs looking stunning, confident, unbothered. William realized his mistake within weeks. By July 2007, they were back together. This time, William was certain. October 2010, Kenya, on the slopes of Mount Kenya. William proposed with his late mother, Princess Diana's sapphire and diamond engagement ring. The announcement came on November 16, 2010. The world erupted. April 29, 2011. Westminster Abbey, London. 2 billion people watched globally. The wedding cost an estimated £34 million, approximately $57 million. Mostly security. Catherine's Alexander McQueen dress, designed by Sarah Burton, was valued at £250,000 roughly. For $100,000, she became Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Cambridge. The fairy tale was complete, or so it seemed. The first devastating blow came just 16 months after the wedding, September 2012. Catherine and William were vacationing at a private chateau in Provence, France. She was sunbathing topless on a secluded terrace, believing she had privacy. She didn't. A photographer with a long-range lens, hiding nearly half a mile away, captured intimate photos. The French magazine Closer published them on September 14, 2012. Catherine was 30, newly pregnant with her first child, violated in the most public, humiliating way imaginable. The photos spread across the internet. The palace sued. French courts eventually ordered Closer to pay €100,000, roughly $119,000 in damages, a pittance compared to the trauma. The message was devastating, even in your most private moments. You are not safe. The pregnancy itself brought fresh torture. December 3, 2012. Catherine was hospitalized with hyperemesis gravidarum, severe morning sickness causing extreme nausea and dehydration. She was barely 8 weeks pregnant. The hospitalization forced the palace to announce the pregnancy earlier than planned. For months, she suffered, lost dangerous amounts of weight, could barely keep food down, yet still attended public engagements when required, smiling through the nausea. July 22, 2013, St. Mary's Hospital, London. After hours of labor, Prince George was born. 7 hours later, Catherine stood on the hospital steps in heels, hair blown out, makeup perfect, holding her newborn for the world's cameras. The world called her Superwoman. What they didn't see was a woman who had just endured childbirth, standing upright because royal protocol demanded it, because the public expected it, because her body was no longer entirely her own. May 2, 2015, Princess Charlotte was born. Catherine appeared on those steps 10 hours after delivery. April 23, 2018, Prince Louis arrived. She stood on the steps 7 hours later, 3 times. 3 performances. Because being a royal mother means your birth is spectacle, your recovery is public, your exhaustion is irrelevant, but the most heartbreaking tragedy was still coming. January 2024. Catherine underwent planned abdominal surgery at the London Clinic in London. The palace stated it was non-cancerous. She would recover privately at home in Windsor. She disappeared from public view, and the world's response was shocking in its cruelty. Social media exploded with conspiracy theories. Was she dead? In a coma? Had William hurt her? Was she getting a divorce? Had she had a mental breakdown? The speculation became vicious, invasive, dehumanizing. March 10th, 2024, Mother's Day. The palace released a photo of Catherine with her 3 children. Within hours, major photo agencies issued kill notices. The image had been digitally altered. Catherine issued a personal apology on social media. Like many amateur photographers, I do occasionally experiment with editing. The internet mocked her mercilessly. Memes flooded Twitter and Instagram. She was accused of lying, of deception, of hiding something sinister. Behind the scenes, Catherine was dying inside because the truth was unspeakable. March 22, 2024. The video that changed everything. Catherine, 42, sitting alone on a bench in the Windsor Gardens, speaking directly to camera. In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London, and at the time, it was thought that my condition was non-cancerous. The surgery was successful. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present. Cancer. The word hung in the air. My medical team therefore advised that I should undergo a course of preventative chemotherapy, and I am now in the early stages of that treatment, she continued, her voice steady but strained. This of course came as a huge shock, and William and I have been doing everything we can to process and manage this privately for the sake of our young family. Prince George was 10, Princess Charlotte was 8, Prince Louis was 5. It has taken us time to explain everything to George, Charlotte, and Louis in a way that is appropriate for them, and to reassure them that I am going to be okay. The courage it took to speak those words while chemotherapy ravaged her body, while the world had turned her absence into entertainment, while strangers had speculated about her death for clicks and engagement. Devastating. The internet fell silent, then flooded with apologies, with shame, with belated compassion, but the damage was done. Catherine had endured chemotherapy while being mocked, had fought cancer while being accused of abandoning her duties, had protected her children from knowing she was sick while millions demanded to know where she was. It is heartbreaking when humanity shows its cruelest face to those suffering most. At 43, Catherine, Princess of Wales, has completed chemotherapy and is gradually returning to public life. In September 2024, she announced the end of her treatment in a deeply personal video featuring William and their children walking through woodland near Windsor. The footage showed her laughing with George, Charlotte, and Louis, a rare glimpse of unguarded family joy. She has returned to select royal duties, but on dramatically different terms. Fewer engagements, more control over her schedule, a fierce protectiveness over family time that the palace now respects. Her estimated personal net worth is approximately £8 to $10 million, roughly $10 to $13 million. She and William live at Adelaide Cottage in Windsor, having moved from Kensington Palace in 2022 to give their children more normal childhoods. She continues championing early childhood development through the Royal Foundation Centre for Early Childhood, launched in 2021. Her Shaping Us campaign emphasizes the critical importance of the first 5 years of life. She supports mental health initiatives, addiction recovery programs, hospices, and children's charities, work she pursues not for headlines, but because suffering taught her what truly matters. Those close to her say cancer changed everything, made her braver about saying no, more willing to prioritize health over duty, more protective of the boundaries that keep her family whole. She still cannot grocery shop without security, still cannot make mistakes without global scrutiny, still cannot be simply Catherine. She will forever be the Princess of Wales, future Queen Consort. But she has learned that survival requires protecting yourself even when the world demands you. Sacrifice everything. At 43, Catherine, Princess of Wales stands as proof that grace is not the absence of breaking. It is choosing to continue after you've been shattered. From reading Berkshire to Westminster Abbey, from cancer diagnosis to treatment completion, from global mockery to hard-won redemption, her story is not a fairy tale. It never was. It is the story of a woman who married into an institution that demands everything and protects little, who gave birth and smiled for cameras while in pain, who fought cancer while the world turned her illness into conspiracy, and yet she stands, not because it is easy, but because George, Charlotte, and Louis need their mother, because William needs his partner, because she discovered that the strongest crowns are worn by those who know what survival costs. If this story touched your heart, leave a tribute below. Share a moment when Catherine, Princess of Wales's quiet resilience, reminded you that true strength doesn't announce itself. It endures, protects what matters most, and finds light even in the darkest diagnoses.